Hello children, today's story is The Owl Who Was Afraid of the Dark, written by Jill Tomlinson and illustrated by Paul Howard. Another super story. Plop is a baby barn owl. He's the same as every baby barn owl that has ever been, except for one thing. He's afraid of the dark. I'm just going to show you the opening page on this because we have Plop. I'm not going to read that again, children. It's the same as the blurb on the back. But there's little Plop. Okay. So the owl who was afraid of the dark. I don't want to be a night bird, Plop told his mummy. The dark is nasty. Don't know that, she said. You better find out about the dark before you make your mind up. Look, there's a little boy down there. Go and ask him. So Plop, who was quite new at flying, took a deep breath and flew down. There he is, leaving Mummy, ready to fly down. Cried the little boy as Plop landed with a somersault. Hello, said Plop. I've come to find out about the dark. Oh, said the boy. Dark is exciting, especially tonight. We're going to have fireworks. Does it have to be dark? Asked Plop. Of course, replied the boy. You can't see the fireworks unless it's dark. Look out for them later. Well, said Mrs. Barn Owl when Plop arrived back at the nest. The little boy says dark is exciting, said Plop. I still do not like it at all, but I will watch the fireworks if you will sit with me. We will sit with you, said his mummy and daddy. So that is what they did. There they are, Mummy, Daddy and Plop. I love this illustration because if you look really closely in the eyes of the barn owls, it looks almost like a reflection of fireworks, doesn't it? When the very last firework had faded away, Mr. Barn Owl went hunting. All night he brought food back for Plop and Mummy until daylight came and it was time for bed. Halfway through the morning, Plop woke up. Mrs. Barn Owl opened one bleary eye. Plop dear, she said, why don't you find out some more about the dark? Go and ask that old lady in the deck chair. She is. Plop landed by the old lady with a thump. Hello, he said. I've come to ask you about the dark. I want to go hunting with Daddy, but he always goes hunting in the dark, and I'm afraid of it. How very odd, said the old lady. Now I love the dark. Dark is kind. I can forget that I'm old, and I can sit and remember all the good times. I haven't much to remember yet, said Plop. I'm rather new, you see. Well, said his mummy, as Plop flew up to the landing branch. The old lady said, dark is kind, said Plop, but I still do not like it at all. That evening, when both his parents went hunting, Plop closed his eyes and tried to remember something to remember. Suddenly he heard a happy shout, and Plop forgot about being afraid of the dark. He peered through the leaves and saw a boy sitting by a fire. Plop flew down, landing with an enormous thud. Hello, said Plop. I've come to see what's going on. I'm guarding the campfire, said the boy. The others have gone to play games in the dark. Lucky things. Do you like the dark? Asked Plop. It's super, the boy replied. Dark is fun. We're going to make cocoa and sing round the fire. Would you like to stay? There's a little boy guarding lighting the campfire, here's Plop come to visit him. I have to say, it all sounds very exciting. And they all look very excited, don't they? So Plop stayed. The boys sang until the fire had sunk to a red glow. Then Plop said goodbye and flew home. "Well," said his mummy, "where have you been?" "I met a boy, and he says dark is fun. I still do not like it at all, but I think campfires are super." Plop woke up the next afternoon and went out onto the landing patch. "Plop," said Mrs. Barn Owl, "go and find out about the dark again. See what that little girl down there thinks." Here's the little girl. Plop landed by the little girl with a bounce. "Hello," he said. "I've come to ask about the dark. Do you like it?" "Of course I do," she replied. "Dark is necessary. Without the dark, Father Christmas wouldn't come. You'd have an empty stocking on Christmas Day." "I don't have a stocking," said Plop. So the little girl took off her Wellington and gave him her sock. "Here," she said, "hang it up on Christmas Eve." "Oh, thank you," said Plop. He turned to his mummy. "Well," said Mrs. Barn Owl, "the little girl said dark is necessary because of Father Christmas coming," Plop said. "I still do not like it at all, though, but I'm going to hang up this sock on Christmas Eve." And there he is with the sock that the little girl gave him. It's a very pretty sock, isn't it? Plop slept nearly all day. By evening he was wide awake. "It's getting up time, Daddy," he shouted, butting his father in the tummy. Mr. Barn Owl looked up at the sky. "Not quite yet, Plop," he said. "Wait until it's dark." That night Plop watched his parents take off to go hunting again. Looking through the leaves, he saw a man standing on the ground below. So Plop flew down, landing with a gentle thump. "Heavens!" cried the man. "You startled me." "Hello," said Plop. "What's that you've got there?" "A telescope," said the man, "for looking at the stars and planets at night." "I don't like the dark very much," said Plop. "Really?" said the man. "But dark is wonderful. I'll show you." The man with the telescope showed Plop lots of stars and how they made patterns in the sky. He pointed out the bright pole star, the Plough, the Dog Star, and the Orion, and the Great Hunter. So here's his telescope, children. And here are some of the stars in the sky that he pointed out. Plop said thank you and flew back to his mummy and daddy. "And man with the telescope showed me the stars," Plop told them. "He says dark is wonderful." That morning Plop had his supper in bed, and then, like a real night bird, he slept right through the day. When Plop woke, it was almost dark. "Now, who's a day bird?" he shouted at the darkness. Plop looked at his sleepy parents. He wasn't going to hang around waiting for them. He might be missing something. This is a nice illustration, children. Here's Plop, wide awake. Here are his parents, still asleep or only half awake. And he's raring to go, ready for adventure. Plop floated down and landed like a soft white feather under the tree. He saw a black cat. "Hello," said the cat. "I was just going exploring. Won't you join me?" "I would like to, I think," said Plop, "but I'm afraid of the dark." "But dark is beautiful," said the cat. "Look around you." Plop looked. The moon had risen. Everything was bathed in its white light. "Moonlight is magic," said the cat. "Come with me and I will show you the nighttime world of cats and owls. Will you come?" "Yes, I will," said Plop. cat took Plop up to the rooftops and they looked down over the sleeping town. "This is my world," said Plop. "I am a night bird after all." "And this is only one sort of night," said the cat. "There are lots of other kinds, all beautiful." "Thank you for showing me," said Plop. "I must go now and tell my mummy and daddy." "Good night," said the black cat, "and many, many more good nights." So this is the night that the cat showed Plop. Can you see? Oh, the stars, the rooftops, the lights in some of the houses. There they are. Plop and the cat sat on a rooftop, just enjoying all of what they say. Plop flew straight back to his tree. "Well," said his mummy. Plop took a deep breath. The small boy said dark is exciting. The old lady said dark is kind. The campfire boy said dark is fun. The little girl said dark is necessary. The man with the telescope said dark is wonderful. And the black cat said dark is beautiful. "And what do you think, Plop?" asked his mummy. Plop looked at his parents with twinkling eyes. "I think," he said, "I think dark is super." Here he is, looking at his parents. Then Plop took off to go hunting in the dark, Mr. and Mrs. Barn Owl on each side, and Plop in the middle. There they all are, off into the night for their nighttime adventures. I hope you enjoyed that, children. See you soon. Take care.